Hello everyone and welcome back to Season 2, Episode 2 of HTFC. That's right, we missed you last week because of Labor Day, but we are back, of course, for Episode 2 of the season. I'm your host, as always, Edgar Rodriguez.
And I'm Patrick Deleon, and joining me for the first segment, as usual, is Sean Vaz.
Let's go.
Welcome again.
2 in a row.
And this is Episode 2 of Season 2 of HTFC. So today we're doing recaps, as always, previews, recaps of the international break, previews of coming back from the international break. We're going to talk about transfer windows, we're going to grade clubs, depending on how they did, and go over some controversial VAR drama in recent weeks as well. So it should be pretty fun. Another
debutante as well in segment 2, so stay tuned for that. But first, before we do anything else, you went with the retro OC away kit.
Yes, so New Jersey, this just came in the mail. So I'm actually... It's honestly not my favorite away jersey we have. I still think our 2022-23 away, our last away jersey,
the white with the
fade, blue, orange and like purple. Yeah,
I have that one.
That's my favorite. That was always gonna be my favorite away, I think, for now.
But you gotta love the retro. You gotta love the retro
for sure. I still love this one a lot, so I'm happy with this one.
Sean, you're repping the.
I got
red, white, and blue.
One of the newer U.S. jerseys. I think it's like the current away one.
Okay.
And we got the 77 because who needs 6'7"? We got 77.
We'll cut that out. No, I'm joking. And then I have the 16-17 Arsenal away kit. This kit is very Alexis Sanchez. And remember that trend? It died down very quickly. Anyway, let's dive straight into it. Sean, you're wearing the U.S. away kit, and that is where we're starting this episode. The U.S. in this last international window, continuing to stress us out more and more each game. Patrick, why don't we start out with the first one of this window, dropping it to South Korea.
Yeah, so this was practically an away game, by the way, in New Jersey.
New Jersey? Red Bull Stadium?
Red Bulls,
that's right. Sports
so
Illustrated.
This is basically an away game for the U.S., and this was... What can you even say about it? Because, remember, let's go back to the first episode when we were talking about that. I was like, South Korea, maybe we can come off with a win, and lo and behold, we did not.
It was the opposite of what we expected.
Totally got dominated by them. That was a pretty embarrassing result there. And then you go fast forward a little bit to Japan, right? That was the one I was like, oh no, we're totally going to lose to Japan this window. And then we come out 2-0. But we tried something a little bit differently. Surprisingly, we played with 3 in the back.
Yep.
And a lot of people seem to really enjoy that because previously when the lineup came out, you look online, everybody's like, this is a terrible lineup. Yep. Like, what is this possibly going to do to Japan? And granted, this wasn't like Japan's like A team.
Japan were terrible.
This was like their B
Japan
team.
Were terrible.
Kind of
like
I
do think like that. I don't know. I'm still gonna say we beat them fair and square 2-0, right?
Sure.
But I don't know. I don't really know how to feel about it because a lot of people are optimistic now. Now they're saying, now they're excited for the October window. I'm like,
let's not get ahead of ourselves.
I don't know.
Get ahead of ourselves. First of all, like I said, Japan were pretty abysmal.
Which is unlike them.
Yeah, you would have expected a better performance. I don't think we should, read too much into this. Again, it's a friendly, good. Yes, Zendejas was getting his shots off. He had loads of chances. Balogun, great to see him on the score sheet. Former gunner, of course, had to move over to Monaco now. But hopefully he can become one of those leaders in this U.S. team in the front line. Sean, what'd you think? I am not... I'm not painting a pretty picture yet. I'm not optimistic yet. A little win. By the way,
we still got
Portugal
Australia,
on the way.
Portugal, Ecuador.
It's not
think
good at all.
Uruguay.
We'll talk about CONMEBOL in a bit.
Yeah.
Sean, any word on the U.S.?
I don't. Despite the win, in my opinion, the win doesn't mean anything.
No,
right
exactly.
Now.
Okay.
It doesn't mean anything right now. It doesn't change how things are going. Pochettino, I'm going to just be so bland here. He's been terrible. In my opinion, he's been terrible. We kind of just have to turn things around, or else the World Cup's going to be a disaster.
I agree.
A complete disaster.
Let's move on, though, because we have a lot to cover in this first segment. Let's go to CONMEBOL, where the games did matter, because this was the final match day when it comes to World Cup qualifiers. And, man, let's start in Bolivia, okay?
Yeah.
Now, Bolivia and Venezuela were the ones that, the spotlight was on them, right? Fighting for that 7th spot, fighting to play in that playoff in, when is that? In a couple months' time.
Yeah.
Bolivia have Brazil in Bolivia, and yes, playing in Bolivia, playing the altitude, it's difficult. But Carlo Ancelotti and Brazil are going to be looking at this and saying, what went wrong here? Bolivia actually win the match with a first half goal in injury time. Bolivia win. But then from a Venezuela point of view, you think, okay, Colombia, it's going to be tough. Let's try to walk away with a draw. Let's play it safe. No. It was like 2-2 in the first 20 or so minutes. You could see it was actually 2-1 Venezuela in the first 15 minutes. Just complete craziness. Not really surprising CONMEBOL World Cup qualifying. It always happens. But for Brazil to lose and then Venezuela to drop 6 against Colombia, man.
Yeah, I mean, this was crazy. Because
first of all, it was changing every second.
Venezuela, I mean, ultimately, it was up to them. All they had to do was just not to lose. Easier said than none, right? Against Colombia,
the Colombia side,
right?
Absolutely.
Understand that. Yeah. And Bolivia, I mean...
Yes, you're in El Alto, but Brazil have no excuses
By the way, if this was a normal World Cup, as in 32 teams, Brazil wouldn't have qualified automatically. No. They would have finished outside of the automatic
it's
CONMEBOL
that 5th place.
slot.
It's the 5th place. Of course, now it's expanded, so it drops down to 7th. Brazil had a terrible World Cup qualifying campaign. Of course, yes, Ancelotti coming in, and the managerial changes. Venezuela's manager, by the way, out after this. No surprise there. I think they need a reset completely.
Let's take a look at the rest of the
Ecuador.
As well.
I wanted to talk about Ecuador. 2nd place, by the way, in what we know is a brutal CONMEBOL World Cup qualifying group. Of course, it's one huge group. Beating Argentina, Messi-less Argentina, we already know. It always goes up in the air whenever Messi is not there. Peru losing to Paraguay, and then Uruguay drawing against Chile. Crazy, I think you can call it the CONMEBOL World Cup qualifying, Sean. But man, I think Venezuela coming off of their last tournament, right, going into this on a good run of form. Dropping like this, I mean, no World Cup for them. It's gonna take the 64-team World Cup, it seems, for Venezuela to get a taste of it.
Yeah, so we can jump on over next to
really quickly. UEFA.
Yes.
Holland went crazy, 5 goals against Moldova. 11-1 win for Norway. Portugal beating out Hungary, of course, Szoboszlai. Before that, talking about how Ronaldo was his idol and wanted to play against him. So 3-2 there. He had his taste against Ronaldo. Spain, my World Cup favorites at the moment. A conversation for a different day. Turkey 6-0. I mean, unbelievable. And then Italy almost getting shocked by Israel. They were 5-1, 4-1 up. Ends up 5-4 for Italy. Any thoughts on what we saw in the UEFA window?
First of all, Holland,
monster.
I mean, yeah, it's Moldova, but still.
A monster.
Still.
2 assists as well, so he contributed to 7 of those goals.
I still think Portugal have a real good shot at being favorites, contending
for the World Cup.
Favorites. Maybe. But I still have Spain over them. I agree with you that Spain, I think everybody has to have them.
I think the favorites, everyone in the world, is Spain.
I'm always a little cautious whenever we have such outright favorites like this. But Spain are coming into that World Cup on a full head of steam. Italy, again, just problems all around. England doing well under Thomas Tuchel. People criticizing him for being boring and not, stealing the headlights, right? But
Germany losing,
going under the radar.
Right?
Yeah, Germany.
There's a lot of
disarray. Germany under Julian Nagelsmann.
Everywhere you look.
Yeah. So the UEFA window always bringing up some surprises. I think we can move on though, because the international window is in the rearview mirror. Let's talk about league play returning. Patrick, you want to start locally? Orlando City against DC United. So that's not a real optimistic noise.
So here's the thing, right? This should be an easy game. But let's take a look back at the last couple of weeks. The last month, right?
Not good.
Not good.
Not good.
Not great at
Horrendous
all.
For Orlando City.
5-1 loss to Nashville away. Granted, at the time it was like, okay, we're resting our guys, right?
Right,
we're going to go to Miami.
We gave them a pass.
Right? But no, that was totally a wasted effort because we lose 3-1 down in Miami. We come, and then we lose the 3rd place match in Leagues Cup to the Galaxy, so we don't make Champions Cup next year, right? Which was an easy task, I think, at that point. But clearly we couldn't do that either. So 3 pretty rough losses in a row. And then, we sell Enrique, which is questionable to me, in my opinion, because I just don't feel like in this final stretch of the season, that was a smart thing to do. We got good money for him for what he is. Like, okay, I'll take it.
Left to Saudi.
But I mean, I respect it, but it's like I would have liked him to at least finish the year here.
Yeah.
We also get rid of Santos, left back. He practically disappeared, banished to the bench, right?
Mm-hmm.
I thought he had a really good cross in him. I don't understand all this hate he got personally, but it is what it is. So we bring in Adrian Marin from Spain.
That's right.
He's been okay. He's low-key kind of mid. I'm not going to lie. So I'm not exactly enthusiastic right now either. And DC United, I mean, there shouldn't be anybody to worry about on that team. There shouldn't be a team to worry about. And we usually do pretty well away in DC. So I'm not too worried, but it's just like this has to start off great right now.
There is no room for error for Pareja now. Don't have the League's Cup distraction. You don't.
It was a wasted effort, a lot of wasted energy.
And now the goal has to be, solidifying those playoffs, not bottling it there either, which I think will be okay. But DC United, like you mentioned, 15th in the East. Year in, year out, they just seem to kind of idle through the season. Nothing really happening. Real Sociedad, Real Madrid, we're going to change now to Spain, to La Liga. Interesting one here.
Yeah,
okay?
I was actually going to put this one too.
Real Madrid starting 3 for 3. Barca, of course, drawing their third match before the international window. Barca also in action. But for Real Madrid, everyone kind of seems to not be so sure yet of Xabi Alonso. Sean, would a win here kind of solidify, okay,
4 in a row?
He's here, great start to the season, Champions League starting soon.
Yep.
Your thoughts?
4 wins out of 4 to start the season would be a phenomenal start, a way better start than last season, to say for sure. But I'm not sure if Xabi Alonso has proven himself yet, because those are 3 games that, in my opinion, whoever's the man, we're expected to win.
Okay.
My opinion.
Yeah, but, I mean, of course, after the Club World Cup, expected to win the Club World Cup, obviously fall short. I think 4 wins from 4 here. You get Mbappe continuing to fire on all cylinders. Perhaps Vinny starting to kind of get into his groove. Barca have Valencia, right? And now, of course, Barca didn't win a game, of course, which you would expect them to win against. Rayo is always, a difficult opponent, but I think Real Madrid, they went 4 for 4. The pressure's already piling on Barca.
I agree.
Let's move on, though. Orlando Pride back to the U.S.
Orlando doubleheader this weekend, right? So, holy cow. Orlando Pride, they've fallen off a cliff.
Yeah.
Like, I go to their games, right? I go with Sam.
That's right. Sam,
so
shout
I
out.
go often sometimes when I can. But, man, they've also been really struggling this year. They really had the last couple of weeks, horrible. 1 win in the last 8. They lost 5-2 last weekend to the Chicago Red Stars. And, look, I've been questioning Anna Morehouse in goal for a long time. I don't think she's that good.
Had a great year last year.
But this year, I don't think she's been a pretty big liability in net. And then all the goals have been really sloppy in the back. I mean, it's just almost like a 180 of what Seb Hines did last year for the Pride, where they nearly went the whole season undefeated, right?
Yep.
And they won everything in fashion, right? So to see them struggling like this now is pretty concerning. So I don't really know what to expect.
I think they're just coming down to earth. I think last year was insane.
Expectations were set,
and for a lot of this season, they were keeping tabs with the Current. Of course, yes, the Current have flown away with it.
Yeah,
but man, the Pride are now going to struggle to make it to the playoffs. That's crazy to say after last year. Let's finish things off in the first segment in the Premier League. Man City, Man United. We have the Manchester Derby coming back from the international break. Look, City have lost 2 of the first 3 games. We already know the mess Amorim has. No, it's not. Tough. Sean,
I'm just saying.
There's no way. Look,
I am just saying.
I'm never letting you live this down, by the way.
Honorable mention, you're right. Top 4.
Just saying.
No. What do we think happens at that team? Surely City bounce back, get their second win of the season, right?
I think so. I think so. I think they're going to do it in convincing fashion as well, because I don't think Manchester United are up to the standard at all after all the money they've spent in the offseason as well.
Sean, they beat Burnley 3-2 at Old Trafford last week, and they were going crazy. They were going crazy. Like, oh, my God, we beat Burnley.
It's nothing to be excited about at
They
all.
crawled over the line against Burnley, who are probably, I would say, already down in the Premier League.
Yeah.
There's no chance against City, surely. I mean, remember what happened last year.
Exactly.
Crazy ending.
In my opinion, it's kind of the exact, not the exact same, but I feel like kind of just underdogs. They kind of just seem to somewhat turn up in the situations where it matters. So I'm going for a draw.
I don't know. I think City get their second
I'm
win.
going for a draw.
Okay, you're just clutching at straws at the moment. Anyway, segment 1 is done. Sean, thank you very much for joining us. Stay tuned, though, because segment 2, we're going to look back at the summer transfer window. It was very busy, so stay tuned for that. All right, everyone. Thank you for sticking around for segment 2. As I mentioned, we're going to be talking the summer transfer window with an HTFC debutant, Octavious Lawrence, my friend, wearing the wrong London club.
Biggest club in London.
I don't know about that. Anyway, welcome to HTFC. Happy to have you on.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Let's dive straight in, guys.
Yes.
Because like I said, the summer window, billions spent in the Premier League alone, which is where we're kind of emphasizing this a little bit. But Patrick, you have the best window in the history of summer transfer windows. Octo, you're smiling there, but I know that comes from a genuine place. Patrick, start us off.
Yes, I mean, it's Arsenal.
Hey,
right?
Andrew Bertha, I love you.
Here's the thing. I gave you, my list of requirements for them to be Premier League champions.
And everyone ticked off.
And they delivered and more.
Yeah.
They checked every single box possible. They made sure every single possible gap in their armored vehicle is sealed and ready to go. And they went out and did it. I mean, there's not much else you need to just look at who they brought in, the positions, their weaknesses from last year, the previous seasons, right? And they've covered everything. Absolutely.
It's safe to say that.
I think they're set.
Look, I would have never even dreamt of a window anywhere close to this, but it was always a positive sign when Andrea Berta came in from Atleti. You know, he has a track record of doing this, overhauling squads, but never like this. We've never seen anything like this, especially not when, the Wenger era, for example. I mean, we were buying guys like Mustafi and Socrates, and I don't even want to continue. But this window, Octo, if you're a Premier League rival, you look at this and you're like, man, they, did more than anyone ever expected, and I am very happy with it. And we also, I think more importantly, cleared out a lot of players that were just kind of lingering in the squad still. Reece Nelson going out on loan. Any thoughts, Octo?
I mean, you took our scraps with Madueke again, so it happens every year.
No. He's gonna be a good player. People were kind of not happy with it. You weren't happy with it, of course, the price, but that's the world we live in. Anyway, I'm very happy. A+? Can we agree on an A+ window?
Yes, I'll say an A+. But I'm okay with it.
Okay. Let's stay in the Premier League. Newcastle now, of course, the Isak saga. I mean, carried on the whole summer. I feel bad for Eddie Howe and the rest of the guys because that could not have been a positive for them, Patrick. But they did recruit well.
Mm-hmm. I think so. And I'm pretty content with their signings as well. I like Yohan Wissa from Brentford. I like, how do you say his last name?
Voltemade, yeah.
I like him. I like his potential.
85 mil, though.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Overpaid, but they were forced into it because of Isak. They were forced into it.
That's kind of their fault.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I still think the whole Isak situation is still crazy. The way everything just unfolded, right?
On deadline day.
And that's going to be the biggest talking point of all. That's what they're going to be remembered by for this window.
Elanga, Jacob Ramsey from Villa as well. Good signings, but I think you lose your best player, and it's kind of like there's an empty feeling there, isn't there?
Yeah, no, and I mean, it's just like, I don't know. When you look at Newcastle now, right, obviously with Champions League, right, and all this, and just trying to stay as close to a top 5 club as they can get, right? Like they want to compete for Champions League. They want to make sure that they're in those competitions. Do you think that these guys can fill in the gaps that everybody else has left behind?
There's no choice. They have to now. I mean, we've seen the struggles they've had in the first few Premier League games, so we'll see if these guys can adapt quickly. Eddie Howe, is under pressure already. Let's go to no, we're actually going to stay in the Premier League. What am I talking about? Chelsea, Octo.
In London.
I don't agree with that, but talk to me about the summer window. I almost ran out of space.
I'm very happy with Chelsea. I mean, obviously we have a very A rich history of buying every player possible.
Oh my gosh, bro. How many guys is that on the squad? 60?
A little bit too many, but the great thing about Chelsea is that we always end up selling for
very
profit.
true. Very
Look
true.
at Nani Madueke, that sale,
How?
50 million. João Pedro, we'll get to him, but João Felix and Kunku sending him out to Milan. Never thought we would get 40 million from him.
Dude, insane.
Chelsea just always makes profit, so I think we were the only Big Six club this window to make profit. A great.
I don't get how they do it. I mean, you're telling me you got 30. I know it's a Saudi, but João Felix 30 mil. What has he done for the last 5 years of his career? Ridiculous. But I do like some of those signings on there. Patrick Esteval. I mean, the Club World Cup already got a view of Chelsea. Liam Delap. I think he's a Premier League striker. Of course, injured at the moment, but then João Pedro. I mean, he earned the move to a Big Six club. Of course, killing it at Brighton, became their talisman, and now is able to prove it at Chelsea.
It was so elite at that Club World Cup. Without him, I don't think we would.
Dude, I mean, he hit the ground running. I mean, ridiculous.
Yeah.
Banging in the goals.
Amazing.
And then you get guys like Gittins, who I like. Of course, Mudryk didn't work. He's still there? Is he still there? 100 mil?
We don't know about
100 mil? 9 figures, by the way, for Mudryk.
Horrible.
Trossard. We got Trossard for 30 mil, Octo, and the better player. Anyway,
Villa. Up next.
I don't agree with you on this, Patrick. You gave them a B. You're going to have to convince me.
I was confused. I was going to say B. I think these, look, I really like Harvey Elliott, first of all. Harvey Elliott.
I like the move. It's on loan, though. It's on loan.
Yeah, but, we're including that for now. Harvey Elliott, I think, will do wonders for this team. I think this is a Harvey Elliott-esque team.
How about Sancho?
Sancho, we don't have to talk about him. He can go off. Lindelof, I don't care about him, right? But Bizot, also, potential there.
Ooh.
Potential.
Especially with Emi Martinez kind of half in, half out.
Know. Potential. That's another also awkward thing with Emi Martinez. He made this such a big deal that he's gonna this is final days at the club. He's gone, and then he's still there, right?
He was on tears in the club saying goodbye, and then he's still there.
Right. Okay. And then
they lost some big pieces though. Jacob Ramsey, Leon Bailey. Yeah.
Sure, I agree, but Aston Villa, I don't know. I think they'll manage just fine, honestly.
You think so?
Yeah, I think
poor run of form at the start of the season.
Very poor run of form. They sit in the 3 days in. Whatever.
Yeah,
but
yes,
19th at the moment.
Yeah.
Lackluster in front of goal.
Can't score. Can't pass.
No.
If you can't tell, by the way, a lot of the things I say don't age well. There you go.
No goals scored, 4 conceded in the first 3 games. I mean, you think about where they were last season under Unai Emery. Again, it's kind of like an Eddie Howe situation. Get going quickly because terrible run of form to start the season. But then, like we said, Bailey out the door. You don't have a Marco Asensio, who they were kind of using off the bench at the end of last season. Marcus Rashford as well, of course, on loan now at Barca. It's going to be interesting to see if Villa can pick things up away at Everton. Coming back this coming weekend.
Roles of Rashford.
He's going to need to. I mean, if there's ever a time to get your career back on track, it's this move. Let's go to Spain, though, because Atletico, another team who has just started in the mud. Lots of ins, lots of outs, guys. But I'll start with you, Octo. Atleti are already on a back foot in this La Liga title race.
Yeah, the thing about Atleti is, they've never really seemed like they can match up to the star power of Barca and Real Madrid in terms of bringing people in. But I actually don't mind their transfer window. They do lose a lot of pieces, though. Angel Correa. Yeah. They lose... I forgot they lost Rodrigo de Paul. Oh, my goodness.
So many.
I forgot
so many. Espilicueta now is Sevilla. Patrick.
I like Almada a lot.
Almada and Cardoso. I thought you were going to...
Cardoso. Yeah, of course. I like Cardoso did really well at Betis. I think he deserves his move. It's just now he needs to translate that to the national team.
Yeah, that's the next step for him. Again, we talk about Simeone having a lot in the bank, getting a free pass so far, but the start of the season's not been good. And when you have Barca and Real already kind of starting on the right foot,
you're behind.
You're behind already, and we're only 3 games in. So worrying signs so far. They're going to hope that some of these signings they brought in, make the difference soon, which has been a theme with Newcastle, with Villa as well, and with Atleti. We have to talk about Manchester United. Yeah. Octo, you chose them. You gave them a B+.
I did.
No.
Here's the thing. You look at the people they sold. As a Chelsea fan, the fact that we paid $46 million for Alejandro Garnacho
crazy work.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Crazy work.
You look at the people that United brought in, Mateus Cunha, Brian Mbeumo, both Premier League proven.
Cunha already injured.
Last year.
That's not his fault.
Injuries will happen.
Just saying.
And then Benjamin Sesko, I think a wholly overpay, but
ridiculous.
Even then,
ridiculous.
I don't fully hate it. You get rid of Højlund, you get rid of Rashford, you get rid of Sancho,
Anthony as well.
You get rid of all that bad era of Erik ten Hag ball. I feel like this is a good step moving forward. The only problem United has: can you trust Amorim?
That's the big question. You can't trust him away at Grimsby Town, as we learned. The conversations we had all summer long, Patrick, were that are these guys, yes, the Premier League proven, okay, but are they the guys to take them to the next level?
No, it's not even just that. To me, it's more like you're just throwing your career away. You're wasting your time.
Who would want to go to
United
now?
Go to United?
Yeah, exactly. That's very true.
So for me, it's a horrible transfer window because these guys could be doing so much better.
Yeah.
But then again, who knows? Can they really be the guys that lift United out of this hole that they're in?
Realistically, though, we look at Seskos and the Mbuemos of this world. United need a good 12-ish goals in the Premier League from them for them to be a success.
They all need to be firing on all cylinders, like from the get-go.
And from what we've seen in the last few years for United, is that everyone who goes there gets worse. Everyone who goes there gets worse. For Sesko, you said wholly overpay. I agree. I'm very happy we ended up sticking to our guns and going with Gyökeres because I was looking at Sesko. I was like, I mean, didn't really have the best Bundesliga season. Yes, it is highly thought of when he was at Leipzig, but again, he has to hit the ground running for United. Do I think he will? Do I think he'll reach double digits? I mean, he should, right? For United, I mean, there is no excuse now. United went through Højlund and they went through Xerxes. Højlund out the door. Xerxes, I think he's still hanging around somewhere. But all the spotlight is going to be on Sesko, Octo.
I mean, he has to hit double digits. You have a great mind in Bruno Fernandes passing you that ball. I can't in good faith say that Sesko shouldn't get top 10 or at least 10 goals, but
right. Goalkeeping situation. They got Lamens in from Belgium. Onana shipped out to Trabzonspor on loan. Patrick, do we think? I mean, Lamens.
It's United.
Exactly.
What can you even do? What can they do at this point?
Man, so we've talked about the good, the not so good. Let's get into the ugly though, because Bayer Leverkusen. F minus, if we're in England, it's an E, right? Man, I don't think I've ever seen such a mass exodus of first-team players. Let's not forget, this was an invincible side in Europe, almost a treble-winning side in Germany, right? Just, fell at the last hurdle in the Europa League, just a step too far. We can give them a pass, though, right? I mean, they had an incredible Bundesliga season. You lose Wirtz, Frimpong, Xhaka, who else? Herdetsky, Ta, Inkapie, Adli. That's a handful of guys who took you to that success last season, all gone.
Yeah.
I mean, Ten Hag already out, Patrick.
Yeah, no, it's been horrible.
I said they're going to struggle to get into the top half of the Bundesliga.
And, it's a shame because I really like Tillman going to Leverkusen.
Yes, Tillman did go to Leverkusen.
I really like Tillman going to Leverkusen, but now it's such like a different side. It's not like I feel bad for him because he's just walked into like almost a disaster, just waiting to happen.
Oh, it definitely is a disaster.
And, let's take a look at Florian Wirtz, by the way.
They got
still on fraud watch, in my opinion. But that was the catalyst, I think, of
really was.
That really marked the
really
exodus of all the rest of these players.
Man, and already Ten Hag out. They get the former Denmark national team head coach in. Who I like what he did at Denmark. I mean, come on. I think we saw that coming.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, 2 games in, unprecedented, really. I mean, managers at least get five games into the season, see if there's something there. He's getting a very hefty payday, though, to get out. So, I think he's okay.
Could be worse.
They also get Kwanzaa in from Liverpool. Replacement for Todd, you would think, wasn't really able to solidify his first team, standing at Liverpool, right? Kind of similar to Harvey Elliott. They're going to be leaning on him as well because this Leverkusen team has been dismantled, Octo. And like I said, wasn't in the mock show, I believe we talked about this. Leverkusen are going to struggle. I don't think they're getting anywhere near the top 6, top 8 in the Bundesliga. They're going to struggle big time.
I think I said finish outside of top 5?
Yeah, outside of top 5. So, yeah, Leverkusen fans, it's looking pretty grim for you. Also for Brentford. Now, we talk about big pieces getting dismantled from a team. Brentford have solidified themselves as a Premier League midfield side. I think they'll be in a relegation fight this year. I think they will. Thomas Frank going to Tottenham. Then you got Mbeumo, Wissa, Norgard, Flecken. There's 4. The spine of this team has been replaced. You have Keith Andrews now, a manager who's never managed a professional team before. I fear for a team like Brentford, Patrick. I think they'll be in that relegation scrap all season.
And I think we're already starting to see that early on in the season already. We're, 3 games in? I think we already see signs of that starting to happen. And unfortunately, I think it's time that they go back down again, And, just like you said, the entire core of this team has just been split apart that they have to essentially rebuild now from the ground up.
They've lost their entire attack.
They really did. They really did. Thomas Frank, of course, the brain behind bringing them up from the championship. Yeah, which, happy for him, big 6 gig, but, Tottenham as well. We were going to talk about them for a sec, but let's move past that. But, yeah, I think, look, the last 2 seasons, the 3 promoted sides from the championship have gone straight back down. I think we see a change in that this season. And I think you look at the Brentfords of this world, you look at the Wolves of this world, I think they'll be embroiled in a relegation scrap all season long. I would hate to see it. I mean, Brentford, new stadium, they've rebranded, they've kind of, rejuvenated themselves and, like I said, solidified their Premier League status. But I think this season, I'm not saying they go down, but I'm saying they'll go to they'll be one of those teams, we go to the final day of the season and we're talking about Brentford needing a win or something, right, to stay up. I would not be surprised. Christian Norgard, right? You talk about a 6 that solidified them, their back line gone. And then Mbeumo and Wissa. That was the duo attack for Brentford. That was Brentford these last few years. That's gone, and I fear for them. Octo, though, let's talk about Milan. Let's go to Italy to finish things off. Talk about Milan. Some good, and some very bad, though.
Definitely some bad there. Obviously, you lose Gianni Reinders.
What a player.
What a player. Oh. What a player. Sending him to City hurt me deeply.
He's a Pep guy, though.
For sure.
Yes.
That first game, he looked Kevin De Bruyne-esque, and that was terrifying. I can't tolerate another great Holland season. But you get Luka Modric on a free, even him being 40 years old. That's a veteran presence for an AC Milan team.
I think that's very positive.
Last year, horrid.
Yeah.
Horrid. So you need that veteran presence. You need people to come in. And Nkunku, obviously, I don't know how they spent almost 40 million euros on him. But nonetheless, hopefully Nkunku can have a career resurgence, go over there, play well. But I'm not too optimistic there. That's what bumped their rating down a little bit. Richie, I actually really like some of Richie. I like the way he was moving in the Serie A.
Yeah.
As for the others, I don't think that losing Teo Hernandez and replacing him with Estepinian is the best move. Only getting 25 million out of Saudi for Teo Hernandez, just 27 years old.
I like Estepinian. I liked what he brought at Brighton, a very attack-minded left back. Patrick, we talk about Modric coming out on free. And yes, he might be 40, but he is a legendary, a legendary figure in that locker room. And we talk about guys like Christian Pulisic maybe having a better season. The other younger guys in that squad are going to be looking up to him and be, man, now we got to step up our game. Even in training.
They're going to be looking for his delivery in that final third.
Yes, absolutely. So we'll see how Milan are able to bounce back from a, like you said, pretty horrid season last time out, guys. But I think that wraps up segment 2. Octo, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
We could have gone on for hours talking about the summer transfer window, but we'll be back for one more. VAR just doesn't go away. Stay tuned. And just like that, we've made it to segment 3. And joining us is a returner from season 1, Mariana Ardila. Welcome back to the podcast room. Very nice to have you back.
Feels so good to be back.
Awesome. Very happy to have you. So, Patrick, right from the start of the season, we've talked about VAR controversies. Now, we've always talked about it ever since it got introduced to the game. They just keep coming. They keep getting worse, I think, is the problem, really. we're going to jump straight into this one. Joshua King, Chelsea, Fulham in the previous Premier League match day. Joshua King, a youngster at Fulham, right? Almost scored. Well, he did score his first Fulham goal, his first Premier League goal. Taken away, though. Now, obviously, we can't show the highlight, unfortunately, or else we get copyright struck, right? But it was a very simple move that he was doing. It was a skill move. It was a pirouette that he was doing. Chelsea defender puts his foot in, right? Puts his foot in, and obviously, Joshua King, in the middle of the move, has to put his foot somewhere. Steps on the defender. So then... Well, he just put his foot down. Right. He just put his foot down. That's simply all he did. Scores the goal. Given. The referee didn't call a foul in real time. But then called back. VAR brings him back to show it to him on the monitor. And somehow they come to the conclusion that movement was a careless challenge. What are we doing? These are Premier League officials, right? And we talk about the Premier League being the most prestigious league in the world, right? We talk about the most eyes being on the Premier League weekend in, weekend out. But if you have decisions like this, this is complete. Okay. The PGMOL, the guy in charge, basically, goes on TV every couple of weeks to talk about the controversial decisions in the Premier League. He says this was a misjudgment. He says it's wrong. But you're in charge of this. Howard Webb, that's his name, Howard Webb, goes on TV to basically criticize his referees. Shouldn't he focus on making sure things like this don't happen? Patrick, what do you think? I can't even come to the conclusion. How can you... How? You're a Premier League referee and you think that's a foul?
Yeah, no. It's horrible. And the thing is, we've seen this time and time again, right, in the Premier League. It just doesn't seem... It seems to get worse almost every single year that passes. It's terrible. And did you ever, watch the videos, the actual with the audio, with what they're going through?
And it makes it worse.
And that's what makes it really bad. Because then it's just what are you even
They were claiming that the defender wasn't able to get up and
wasn't able to defend. I'm sorry. Wait. First of all,
I don't know.
You're in the motion of controlling the ball. Okay? You're in the motion of controlling the ball. It wasn't that it was a 50-50 ball. It was the Fulham man's ball. So to somehow think that it was a foul, and again, maybe it's understandable if the foul was given real time, right? Mm-hmm. But come on. It's just one of the worst decisions I've ever seen.
And then I always just hate afterwards they're always it was at the time it was the wrong decision, but the damage has already been done, right? You've already missed out on potential points.
Yes.
Valuable points.
Absolutely.
So it doesn't matter what you say at that point because the decisions at the time, clearly the people making them don't know what they're doing.
No.
So it's what do you even do at that point?
And Mari, Fulham were dominating this game. They were going to go 1-0 up into halftime. Octo, I'm pretty sure you were nervous because Fulham were all over Chelsea. And you get a goal disallowed. How do you even come back from that? Mentally, for Fulham, for Marco Silva, the manager, there's no coming back from that.
Even for Joshua King in general.
Yeah.
For everybody. 1-0 is easily a match that you can come back from. And unfortunately, that even pushed back Fulham down and pushed Chelsea up.
Yeah.
So it's little calls like that really could make a huge difference, not only for the team, for the player, for the standings, for everything.
When they went to the studio at halftime, Robbie Mustoe, one of the Premier League pundits, right, on NBC, said it was a sad day for the Premier League. And I agree. If we're getting down to the level, we're controlling the ball and putting your foot down. We always talk about follow-throughs, right? And then, did he get the ball? Did he take too much of the defender? All of this. That wasn't even that. It wasn't even a little glimmer, maybe it was a foul. It's 100% should have been given as a goal. And, of course, Joao Pedro scoring deep into injury time in the first half, and Chelsea didn't look back. It completely buried Fulham, and I feel bad for Marco Silva. What do you tell your guys at halftime at that point? There's no coming back from it.
No.
There absolutely is none. Anyway, I can rant about that all day long. Very disappointing in the Premier League to see that. Hopefully no more, but I'm sure in a couple of weeks we'll have another one of these segments. Patrick, we're going to go to the MLS, and this one is arguably worse.
Yeah, so this was match day 28, I believe. So this was just a couple weeks ago. And Vancouver Whitecaps versus St. Louis, right? So Vancouver this year, they've been doing very well. You know, they're up there in the Western Conference.
They had one of the best starts ever.
Yeah, exactly.
Crazy.
So, and, okay, they bring in Thomas Muller in the summer, right? So he's still looking for his first goal. So they have this match at home in Vancouver, right? We fast forward to stoppage time, extra time. You know, like, this is late into the game.
Was this a playoff game? 103rd minute? What is that?
Yeah, so let's go fast forward. And then a critical moment happens, right, in St. Louis's box. So you've got Sebastian Rollholzer. He's driving into the box, right? And then you have Joyner from St. Louis. You know, he's trying to mark him. He's tracking him. But he doesn't make a challenge or anything, right?
There was no contact
at all. There was no contact, but Berhalter goes down. So initially, the initial call on the field was the referee, he lets it go because there's nothing there, right? There's nothing there.
Right.
So the referee, he ignores it, you know, play goes on, whatever. VAR decides, hold on, let's take a look at that. Like, there's something to be looked at. So then they tell the center referee, who, by the way, a lot of people are
has a history of botching calls.
That, yes, of absolutely botching calls.
Yeah.
And favoring, like, other teams, specifically Vancouver, because his family's from there and they have gone to games and all these kinds of things.
Right.
So they, like, people have, like, did their digging, like, this is the guy. Like, they have, like, pictures. Like, it's crazy. Point is, this was horrible because VAR, like, okay, you got to go look at this. Go to the monitor. They send him to the monitor. He's looking at the monitor, and everybody that's seeing the feed, there's literally, like, no contact. People are like, oh, you know, part of the, like, the leg of, like, Berhalter's, like, outstretched leg, like, it's, like, caught up, trapped, and he gets, like, tripped.
I don't think so.
There's zero contact. I see absolutely nothing there, right? And it's 2-2 at this point, obviously. So everybody's like, you know, like, there's nothing, there's no foul. Whatever. Referee, for whatever reason, changes his mind, awards the PK. Vancouver score, they win 3-2, you know, after all this time.
Yeah.
But then it's just another conversation of, like, MLS referees have just a history of being horrible. You know, it's up there in terms of, like, Premier League refereeing.
But that's what kills the game.
Yes. And it's horrible because now St. Louis are having a pretty bad year. Rather than escaping with 1 point, they lost out on an extra point.
And we talk about this nonsense clear and obvious, Mario. It has to be clear and obvious for the referee to go back and check. You don't give a penalty. It's okay.
That's not clear. It's okay. Like, it didn't look like one.
Berhalter tripped himself. If anything, his right foot got caught on his left leg. And we're saying that's a foul now? We're saying that's a foul just because it's in the box? It's ridiculous. And the fact that the referees have the technology at their disposal, Mari.
And they can still get these calls wrong.
There should be no way that a qualified referee can get a call like this wrong. It's ridiculous. It's so crazy to see that in the Prem, in MLS, wherever you look, mistakes like this are happening.
Yeah, no, I think it's crazy. Like, all the leagues, like, the referees just getting involved but making the wrong calls. Like I said, it just kills the game. No. It was a really good match. It was really back and forth. You know, St. Louis scored first and Vancouver back-to-back, and it was just a really good game, and just ended up giving St. Louis a terrible start. And hopefully we see a change with referees. Maybe referee change up. Maybe we don't see this referee anymore, you know.
Well, so that's an interesting, very good point, because the VAR in the Chelsea game was supposed to be VAR in the Arsenal game later that week, was taken off that assignment. We've seen that happen in previous seasons as well. You know, referees who make clearly blatant wrong decisions, you know, kind of get punished for it. Sometimes we see them have to referee a game in the lower league, like in the championship. If it's in the Prem, maybe a game in the championship. Kind of get back to it, right? But I think referees are very protected. They're very protected.
I mean, but that's the thing. It's just, it feels like...
Are they accountable? Are they held accountable for these wrong decisions?
And, like, there are good referees, but there's way more, I think, bad referees than good referees. Yeah. You remember all the bad ones, right? You remember all the bad ones.
Absolutely.
You don't remember the good ones.
I agree. And, like you said, a back-and-forth game, and all we talk about is that decision that should have resulted
And that goes
in
back
nothing.
to even like last season, Champions League, right? So many moments like that as well.
Oh,
even just going into like like the Alvarez like double touch incident, right?
Right.
That kind of draws that also like squeezes its way into this whole conversation, because
really
then
does.
it's like okay, well, what are the rules? Like, where are we drawing the lines
Right.
for all these different rules that we have in place, right? As I was a referee to interpret, right?
It's tough.
You can't solve them.
It's not an
Can't
easy
solve them
job. Well, so we're gonna leave on this. How do you solve it?
You
Quick
can't.
answer.
You can't. I don't
can't?
think you can.
You agree,
You
Mari?
just have to limit the damage as much as possible, I think.
And just give them, I guess, consequences and stuff like that for what they do, and give them, like you said, make them referee less, smaller leagues and stuff like that, not as big as matches and everything.
Yeah. You know what I would love to see? Referees do post-match interviews. But it'll never happen. It'll never
think that
happen.
would good.
But
Like, why make this
put them
decision?
under the spotlight. What was going through your head? Anyway, referees, they never fail to disappoint us. I was going to say impress, but disappoint us, I guess. Anyway, hopefully it gets better. But from Patrick, from myself, from you, Mari, from Sean, from Octo, Becca, and Nick at the producer's desk, as always, that does it for episode 2 of HTFC for season 2. We'll be back next week. League play is back in action, Patrick. It doesn't stop from here. We'll see you next week. Take care.